Hey everyone, before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button to join my channel and stay updated with more stories like this. It's $3,000 ahead, and let's be real, you can't swing that. That's the text my sister sent when I asked why I wasn't invited to her bachelorette bash. What she didn't realize, I owned the exclusive resort she'd picked for her celebration. I'm Lauren Hayes, 38, and I work as a hospitality consultant, a path that's carried me far beyond what my family ever imagined. For over a decade, I've turned struggling properties into thriving businesses. 3 years back, my mentor, Margaret Chun, named me a silent partner in her resort empire before she passed. 6 properties spanning 3 states, including the Azure Coast Resort in Monterey. Yep, the very spot my sister Jessica chose for her pre-wedding getaway, deliberately leaving me out. Did this hit a nerve? Drop a like, share your thoughts below, and hit that hype button to spread this story to others who get it. Your support means everything. Jessica and I grew up in a typical middle-class Portland family. Somewhere along the line, our roads split. I dove into hospitality management while she climbed the ladder in tech marketing and snagged Trevor Donovan, whose family deals in high-end cars. I rolled around in my trusty used Subaru. She flaunted Tesla-filled Instagram stories. The comparisons crept in subtly. At family dinners, Mom would rave about Jessica's latest promotion or her Bali trip. Lauren, how's the hotel gig going? Dad would ask, as if I was running a budget motel. Jessica's sweet smile barely hid her smugness. She was the golden child, the successful one. Unbeknownst to them, I'd been stashing every extra penny since my mid-20s, guided by Margaret Chun, a hospitality genius whose properties raked in millions yearly. The loudest wallets usually have the least, she'd say. True wealth stays quiet. When Margaret passed unexpectedly, I was heartbroken. At her reading, I was floored when the lawyer announced, to Lauren Hayes, who shared my vision, I bequeath a 40% partnership in Chun Hospitality with full operational control. I was speechless, 40% of 6 resorts. Margaret's kids got the remaining 60%, but I called the shots. It was daunting, exhilarating, and mine. I kept it from my family, not to deceive, but because I knew wealth changes how people see you. They stop seeing you and start seeing your bank account. So, I stuck with my Subaru and let them think I was scraping by. Last November, Jessica got engaged. Trevor popped the question on a yacht, with a ring that probably cost more than my first car. Mom was over the moon, gushing about Jessica marrying into such a fine family. The subtext was clear. Jessica was winning at life, while I, single and work-obsessed, was falling behind. When bachelorette planning kicked off, Jessica's maid of honor, Amber, pitched the Azure Coast Resort in Monterey. It's so exclusive, she squealed. Only the elite get in. Jessica ate it up. Perfect for her Instagram aesthetic. I waited for my invite. We're sisters, right? Instead, I got radio silence. I noticed Jessica posting about it in a family group chat I'd been quietly dropped from. Mom let it slip at dinner. Oh, the Monterey trip sounds amazing, Lauren. You're going, aren't you? She froze, realizing her mistake. Jessica's face went blank. It's a small group, she said. Just my closest friends. I'm your sister, I replied, a chill settling in my gut. It's not personal, she shrugged. We're keeping it tight-knit. Later, I texted her, Jess, I really want to be there. Can we talk? Her reply, 30 minutes later, Lauren, it's $3,000 per person for the weekend. We both know that's out of your budget. I'm just sparing you the awkwardness. Consider it a kindness. I stared at the message, stunned by the patronizing tone. She was weaponizing money to shut me out. If she just admitted we weren't close, it'd sting, but this was cruel, dressed up as compassion. What Jessica didn't know was that I'd gotten an email that day from David Park, the Azure Coast Resort's general manager. He mentioned a big bachelorette booking for June, guest of honor, Jessica Hayes. My resort. Fate had just dealt me a wild card. The next morning, I called David. The Hayes bachelorette party? I'm attending as a guest. Don't mention my arrival, and treat me like anyone else until I say otherwise. Understood, Miss Hayes, he replied. Then I texted Jessica. You're right, $3,000 is steep, but I want to be there for you. I'll make it work. Count me in. After a long pause, she replied, Lauren, that's not a good idea. The group's vibe is set. I insist, I shot back. Family matters. I'll handle my own booking. Fine, she finally texted. But don't expect us to wait up for you. I booked the owner's suite, a 3-bedroom penthouse with a private infinity pool on the far side of the resort. David ensured my check-in was low-key. When the weekend arrived, I flew in, rented a modest sedan, and arrived dressed in understated elegance. I heard Jessica's crew by the pool before I saw them. 12 women in matching bride tribe swimsuits. I settled into a lounger across the deck with a book. It took Jessica 15 minutes to spot me. Her face flashed surprise, annoyance, then irritation. She strode over, her smile strained. Lauren, you actually showed up. Told you I would, I said. This place is gorgeous. We agreed you'd keep to yourself, she snapped. This is our private area. I glanced at the public pool deck. It's shared space, Jess. But don't worry, I'll blend into the background. She stormed back to her group. I caught their whispers, awkward, clueless, desperate. I kept reading, unfazed. Saturday was spa day. Jessica had reserved the entire spa for her crew. I wasn't on the guest list, but I wanted a massage. At 10 a.m., I strolled in. The spa coordinator, Maria, recognized me but stayed professional. Miss Hayes, we didn't expect you. Your usual treatment. Jessica overheard and swooped in, fuming. What are you doing here? This is our private booking. I smiled calmly. I'm a guest here for a massage. Is that an issue? It's an issue that you're crashing my bachelorette, she hissed. This is sad, Lauren. Can't you see you're not wanted? The spa fell silent, her friend stared. I kept my cool. I'm a paying guest using the facilities. If that's a problem, maybe we should call management. Yes, let's, Jessica snapped, grabbing her phone. This is Jessica Hayes. I need security at the spa now. A guest is harassing us and I want her gone. She hung up, smug. 5 minutes later, David Park arrived with security. Miss Hayes, he said, nodding to Jessica, then turned to me with subtle respect. Miss Hayes, I hear there's an issue. How can I assist? Jessica blinked. Why are you addressing her like that? I called you. Get her out. David's face stayed neutral. I see. Miss Hayes, care to explain? I took a breath. My sister Jessica booked her party here, unaware of my personal tie to this property. Now she's demanding I leave. Jessica scoffed. Personal tie? Lauren, you can't even cover your rent. Stop pretending. David looked at me. I gave a slight nod. He turned to Jessica. Let me clarify, Miss Hayes. This is Lauren Hayes, principal owner of this resort and 5 others in the Chun Hospitality portfolio with full operational control. The words hit like a thunderclap. Jessica's face drained of color. That's impossible. She works in hotels, not owns them. I've worked with Miss Hayes for 3 years, David said evenly. She inherited a 40% controlling stake from her late mentor, Margaret Chun. Jessica stared at me, speechless. You said you were a consultant. I am, I replied. I consult for the properties I own. I never lied, you just assumed. Her shock morphed into humiliation. If you own this place, why didn't you tell me? Would you have invited me if you knew? I asked. Or would you have picked another resort? She didn't answer, we both knew why. David cleared his throat. Miss Hayes, should I arrange alternative plans for the party? No, I said, choosing grace over spite. They can stay. Just no more harassment. David nodded. Of course. Miss Hayes is entitled to all resort amenities. I trust this won't happen again. Jessica stood frozen as the dynamic flipped entirely. That night, she knocked on my suite's door. I let her in, and we sat on the balcony, the ocean stretching before us. I didn't know, she said quietly. I know. Why keep it a secret? Because you'd stop seeing me and start seeing my money, I said. I didn't want that. Her voice softened. I treated you like you were less. You did, I said. For years. That text you sent? It wasn't considerate, it was cruel. Tears streaked her face as she flinched. I don't know why I did it. Maybe because you seemed happy being you and I'm not. I've got the Instagram life, but I'm not fulfilled. It made me mad that you were okay just being yourself. I softened a bit. It hurts that you made me feel worthless because my life didn't look like yours. You're my sister. You should have lifted me up, not tore me down. I know, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. An apology didn't erase the years of pain, but it was a step. I don't know if we can fix this, I said honestly, but if you want to try, start by seeing me, not my status. I want my sister back, she said. Then tell me about the wedding, I replied. The real stuff. For the first time in years, we had a real conversation. Sunday morning, I covered the group's $12,000 resort bill. When they saw the zeroed-out balance with a note, covered by property owner, they looked at me with newfound respect. Jessica hugged me before leaving. Thank you for everything. You're still a pain sometimes, I said, hugging her back, but you're my sister. 6 weeks later, at her wedding, I wasn't an afterthought. Jessica asked me to do a reading. At the reception, Mom pulled me aside. Jessica told me about the resorts. Why didn't you tell us? I wanted you to be proud of me for me, not my assets, I said, smiling. She hugged me tightly. I've always been proud of you. I let myself believe her. Jessica and I aren't perfect, but we're forging a real bond. We're no longer the successful sister and the failure, just sisters. I still drive my Subaru, live simply, but now it's by choice, not necessity. My family finally sees me, not as the letdown who couldn't keep up, but as the woman who built something extraordinary while everyone else was looking the other way. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated, give it a like. Hit that hype button to share it with others and drop your own story in the comments. I read every one.